All right, so this is video number 2. So it looks like you could have somebody around you, somebody traveling towards you. They want to come in, they want to end your success. So be aware of this. So let's go ahead and get the spiritual side of these cards. All right, so let's see. All right, so we have providence, manifestation, fulfillment of prophecy. This is the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands card is of Joseph being appointed over all the land of Egypt, so that only in the throne was Pharaoh above him. Through all of the trials and difficulties that Joseph faced in his life, he had remained faithful to God and grew in wisdom, to the point that Pharaoh determined that Joseph's knowledge of God and wisdom was unmatched. And at the beginning of his life, Joseph was naive. He also told the truth, even if the truth was something that the others did not want to hear. He did not conceal his dream of his brothers one day bowing down to him. And his honesty worked against him, leading him to be sold into slavery. As a slave, Joseph proved to be a good servant in his master's house, and in his unwillingness to compromise his integrity led him to resisting his master's wife, who attempted to seduce him, which resulted in him being put into prison. While in prison, he again proved through his efforts and trusted the steward. He interpreted the dreams of 2 other prisoners and told them the truth regarding the interpretations. He did not try to deceive them or manipulate them to his advantage, but openly stated, "Remember me when it is well with you, and please do me the kindness to mention me to Pharaoh, and so get me out of this house." Genesis 40:14. As a result, he eventually was given the opportunity to interpret Pharaoh's dream and be appointed as Pharaoh's steward, but Joseph rose to power without compromising himself, and he remained faithful to God in every circumstance, whether in power or in prison or as a slave. The power Joseph received from Pharaoh allowed him to save lives of many people, including his own family members. When Joseph was reunited with his brothers, he did not seek revenge against them, but spoke with wisdom about God's will. Joseph's life is an example for us, so that we might refrain faithful to God in any circumstance and trust in God's providence in our lives. All right, so related scriptures: Genesis 50:19 through 21, Romans 8:28, Genesis 41:38 through 45. Okay, so opportunity. This is the Knight of Swords card. It is of the Knight of Swords cards of Judith beheading Holofernes. The Assyrians were aware of God protecting Israel and how he helped them escape from Egypt. So they did not attack Jerusalem directly, but waited to determine whether or not God was with the children of Israel at that time, because they knew that God would withdraw his favor in response to their iniquities. Instead of attacking Holofernes, the leader of the enemy army, cut off Israel from their supplies, which caused Israel's cisterns to be empty in an effort to starve them out. Judith was a widow whose husband died of heat exhaustion while working in the wheat fields. When she heard that the people of Israel were planning on surrendering because of the lack of food and water, and went to the town officials and told them that they were being tested, and asked them to trust God instead of surrendering. Uzziah, the king of Israel at that time, told her to go and pray that God sends rain so that they could sustain themselves. Otherwise, he would surrender in the matter of the days. Judith told Uzziah to allow her and her servant girl to leave in the fortified city with God. With God's help, she would rescue the people of Israel before the date they had planned on surrendering. Judith then prayed to God and asked that he bless her efforts to use deceit in order to overcome their enemies, just as Diana's brothers did in order to avenge her rape. Outside of the walls of Judah,